Welcome to week 3. This is Laura, and we will be covering information architecture and prototypes this week. Here are our topics: usability and ease of use, information architecture, prototypes, and an overview of our week 3 activities, which will include what's called a low fidelity prototype categorization, prototype peer review, and a usability reflection. I want to remind you of our design thinking process. We have spent a lot of time on the first 2 steps: empathize and define. And we did a bit of work on ideate last week when you did your embedded feedback and peer reviews. This week, we're going to continue to do a little bit of ideation, but really focus on prototyping. And we will be spending time the next couple weeks on prototyping. The first concepts I want to have you think about are usability and ease of use. These are related concepts, but they are not synonyms. So usability is a measure of how well a specific user in a specific context can use a product to achieve a defined goal. And so they would feel very satisfied with their ability to achieve that goal. Ease of use is a concept that describes how easily users can use a product. So there's an example here that might be a good metric. User must be able to tap and find within 3 seconds something that they're trying to access in the interface. So these are both elements that you've probably experienced. Think of your phone. A phone is a high usability, high ease of use product. And so keep those in mind as you're thinking about your prototypes. The next concept is information architecture. Information architecture is the discipline of making information findable and understandable. So it's the big umbrella that allows us to consider how to design in user experiences in user interfaces. So it includes things such as searching, browsing, and how things are categorized and how information is presented. The main area, as I mentioned, that we're going to spend time on this week is prototyping. So this is the next phase in design thinking. It is experimental, where you as a designer will start implementing some of your ideas from the prior weeks, and you will put them into kind of paper form or conceptual form, and we will call that low fidelity for now. That just means the early prototype phases, where you might be doing a sketch, you might be doing kind of a workflow, you might be doing brainstorming that you're capturing, but you're not actually doing any form of coding. And the prototypes are helpful because they are experimental, that you can refine and validate your designs with your users. The assignment we're going to do is going to have you further consider the categories for prototypes, to empathize, to test, or design. And so there's various categories so that you can think about the why behind your prototype. Are you doing your prototype to further understand your users? Are you at a stage where you are doing a prototype to test certain design decisions or elements of your prototype? Are you down the road a little bit with your design, and you feel like you're ready to throw a couple designs out there and get feedback on that? So that's the big picture for what prototyping is in terms of categories. For our assignment this week, the first thing you'll do, we're going to keep it relatively straightforward and simple for you to think about. In one of your assignments, you're going to think about these low fidelity prototypes. These are the things that are mostly on paper at this point, and you might capture them in an electronic tool like Visio as a workflow tool or something like that. But the idea is really kind of the very beginning parts or initiation of your prototype thinking. So you're going to be thinking about your design challenge. You're going to be thinking about the feedback you got just last week from your embedded feedback from your peers. You're going to be thinking about your end users, and you're going to try to think through what kind of prototype category would best fit your situation, your design challenge, and all the other things you've done up to this point. And you'll want to decide if you're going to empathize, test, or decide your prototype. And then you're going to ideate on low fidelity prototype concepts and your embedded feedback. And you're going to be coming up with a variety of prototype ideas that then you will share with your peers, and they will help you further refine so you can update the prototypes and whittle those down to the ones you really want to spend time on the remainder of this course. So that would be your first assignment. The peer feedback that you will do is once you do that low fidelity prototype, that's your individual assignment, you will share it out with your small groups. You will then share 2 of your concepts. And again, keep in mind, I put this, I think, in the announcement, but keep in mind that you don't have to do an entire prototype of your full design challenge. You can pick parts of it so that you can kind of play with the ideas, continue to ideate and brainstorm. So you can pick a slice of your design challenge to prototype. You can workflow the entire thing and see what where you're landing at that point, but don't feel like you have to do the entire thing. So you're going to share essentially 2 prototype concepts. So they could be the entire prototype or just elements from your design challenge. And then you're going to provide prototype feedback back to your peers, and then you will have an opportunity to synthesize any feedback and modify your prototype. And that will help you to continue to move forward with your ideas and prototypes and design challenge. Okay, so this is your summary for week 3. You're going to review usability, ease of use, information architecture, and prototypes. And then you're going to have some assignments and activities to allow you to practice these concepts by identifying and categorizing a low fidelity prototype or prototypes for your design challenges. And then you'll be sharing your prototype categories and ideas with your peers. You will not only get peer review feedback, you will give peer review feedback, and then you'll further refine your prototypes. And then you'll have a whole class reflection on usability and creativity and how users interact with UX UI interfaces and the concepts we're learning. Now, the last bit here is I'm trying to keep track of all the things that you're learning in the course and put them into some sense for you. So you'll see here that the first week or so we spent on coming up with your design challenge, doing your empathy maps, so you're understanding your users, coming up with the Mad Lib point of view statements and how might we question. So this is kind of the foundational piece of the course that allows you then to move into what we did last week, which was further empathize and define your design challenge, start doing some ideation. This was the user research, and I did get a few questions about that related. We did not do full user research. We just really did had you make some assumptions about your users, and so that's kind of where we spent our time to give you practice. And then this week, all of this information does work together to get you to a place to prototype based on the design challenge, on the feedback, on your end users, and then you're prototyping again, either a slice of your design challenge or you're doing a conceptual model of the whole thing. But you'll have time as we go forward in the next couple weeks to refine that. Thank you for your time, and I hope this helps you.